So here we go. We are in the Faculty of Health Sciences, and as indicated, I'm part of the Interdisciplinary School of Health Sciences, among other schools within the faculty. As you see here, the School of Rehabilitation Sciences that offers a graduate program only, the School of Nursing, the School of Human Kinetics, and the School of Nutrition Sciences. At the bottom here, you'll see what we have within our school. So we call our school ISH usually, just Interdisciplinary School of Health Sciences, and EISS is the French equivalent. So we offer the Bachelor's of Health Sciences, but also graduate programs, both the Master's in Science and a PhD in Population Health, and this is also developing. What I'm showing here with the graphic at the bottom is really the importance of everything that we're doing together. So it's both the academic portion, so in terms of teaching you guys, but also having you involved in research, which again is important for us in terms of the work that we do, but then being able to bring this back to the community. So there are a lot of people who do research in a community setting, but most of the research that we do is still something that we're trying to do in order to apply it to a community setting. Community here is used as a very large term. So very important to think about things. It's not just taking classes, but it's all of this together. So basically the Honors Bachelor in Health Sciences is a four-year undergraduate program, and at the basis of it is the science. And that's important to know because basically we are trying to teach you about science in a health context. So what do we mean by that? The context that I'm talking about here is to think about, okay, you have a data point of 85. If you have a little bit more information, you find out that, okay, you have a girl that weighs 85 pounds. What is the context for this? Let me just move my thing over a little bit. Okay. So here we're talking about a 17-year-old girl who's about 5'4" tall, who weighs 85 pounds because she has a serious eating disorder that may be influenced by a variety of social, physical, behavioral, and genetic factors. So we're adding to the context already. But furthermore, we're talking about her illness is having an impact on her parents' marriage, her relationships with her friends, and her siblings' studies. So the context of a health situation or a health problem, in this case, the young girl having an eating disorder, is much more important. Well, it's not more important, but it's equally important to think about that context in terms of both understanding the problem, but also understanding the treatment and how to help the person get better. So we need to think about context when we're thinking about health and health problems. So the Interdisciplinary School of Health Sciences, we see this program as being iSTEM. So you obviously know the STEM acronym as being important in terms of science, but here we're talking about something a little bit different, but more complementary to the science aspect that is typically thought of for STEM. So iSTEM is a little play on, the Apple, iPad, iPhone, so on. But for the I, we see that as the interdisciplinary component. Okay, so then we'll talk about what interdisciplinarity means shortly. The S being science as always, but here we're talking both about the biosciences that we typically think about, but also social sciences, which are equally important in thinking about healthcare and health problems. The T stands for technologies and health. The E being the environment, and again, the environment can be quite large in terms of, yes, we're talking about, for example, toxicants, but we're also talking about, let's say, the developmental environment of the uterus, something like that. So environment can be used very largely. And the M standing for math. We do a lot of things related to statistics and epidemiology. So as you see on the right, we're talking about biosciences being integrated with social sciences and research methodologies. So they all play a very important part in helping us understand health problems and helping us try to find answers to health problems. So just revisiting the interdisciplinarity word here, this is something that we have talked about at within our school a lot to ensure that we are using the word interdisciplinary in a way that makes sense to us, because a lot of people will use it in different contexts or with slightly different meanings, but this is basically what we mean with respect to interdisciplinarity. So it's an approach to analyze and integrate, and I have integrate being underlined here because it is important to be able to put these things together. So integrating knowledge and experiences from various disciplines to address health issues. And we will be talking about some of these disciplines shortly as well. So what we are doing with respect to this bachelor program is to try and give you a lot of experiential learning. And the way we are trying to do this is by offering laboratories. And you'll see at the end of this page some optional courses as well related to research. But in terms of the laboratories that we offer, in the first year, you have 2 science-related labs, so one in chemistry and one in cell biology. In the second year, we have statistics labs. So we offer 2 statistics courses, both of which within them are integrated lab components so that you get that practice, you get to apply the knowledge to, well, to real life situations as well. And then in third year, we have an epidemiology lab. Now this is new. It will be starting in the next round of epidemiology courses. And finally, I show you here as well as part of the experiential learning, some optional courses that are available related to research. Now we have a lot of our students who are interested in pursuing research projects who in fact tend to volunteer in labs very early on in their academic pursuits to learn a little bit more about what's going on, but also to kind of develop their interest in this research and to find out a little bit more what's going on, what types of research are these different professors going. Again, a lot of this information is available online. If you research the Interdisciplinary School of Health Sciences and look at all the professors, we list what type of research we do as well. So all professors do research. So while we're talking about the courses, we're going to be developing this a little bit more. The basic goal of this program is to provide students with an integrated knowledge of health sciences. And I have here some of the objectives with respect to each year. So in the first year, the idea is to help you identify the determinants of health. And you'll see one of the courses that you're taking in first year is called Determinants of Health, because this will play a part all along your 4 years. You will be going back to these determinants of health over and over again. In second year, one of the goals is to understand the interaction between determinants, so the determinants of health, and particular health problems. In the third year, we're trying to help you develop a critical thinking skills. So again, the idea is to be able to question things, to be able to apply these things to real life or, real life situations, but cases that we could be talking about. And in fourth year, it's important here to think about the synthesis of information, right? So it's not simply, oh, I'm taking all of this, but I'm taking it and putting it together and making something new. I am synthesizing the information and able or learning how to problem solve. So those are the objectives over the 4 years of the program. The structure of the program is as shown on this slide. So you have 120 units, which are equivalent to credits. And I show at the bottom that one course, generally speaking, is worth 3 credits, okay? So you have 15 credits or units that are taken in general studies. And you'll see this when I I show you a little bit more of a breakdown of the courses. So these are courses that you take basically in, as I showed you, there was a chemistry course, a biology course that needs to be taken, sociology, psychology. So those are general studies courses. Then you have some compulsory courses within health sciences. So usually the code for those courses is HSS. So there are 54 units of compulsory courses. Then you have some optional courses within HSS as well, and some optional courses outside of HSS that you can take within the Faculty of Science, okay? You'll notice here at the bottom where it's underlined that you have other optional courses available to you. So there are 30 extra units of optional courses that you must take to fulfill the overall 120 units needed for your bachelor's degree. Some students take these courses exclusively as part of a particular faculty, and they obtain a minor in something. So there are students, for example, who are doing a bachelor's in health sciences who might do a minor in psychology. There are many other places where one could do a minor, but that's just one that I'm aware of quite a few of our students do. So that means that you find out which courses are part of the minor in psychology, and those are the courses you would take in terms of those 30 units to complete your 120 for your bachelor. So when you graduate, you actually have something that says that you have a minor in a particular topic. So you'll also see in red on the right-hand side that within the optional health science courses, you can also take what is called an option in health sciences. So this is new. It's kind of what we had envisioned as a bit of a specialization. So there are 3 such options that we offer. One of them is called Population and Public Health. The second is Technologies and Innovation in Healthcare. And the third is Integrative Health Biosciences. So these are 3 options that, that you can take that are very specific. Again, you're taking them as part of your optional HSS courses, but they're very specific courses that you sign up for to obtain this option. And again, this option appears on your transcript. You don't need to complete an option, but you can. Typically, you would sign up in your 2nd year, and the courses that are part of the option are in 3rd and 4th year. Okay, so those are some of the courses that you could take, and I'll look at this actually right now. So if you're doing this approach, so looking at it more in terms of a theme, so if you want to specialize a little bit in, let's say, population and public health, then in 3rd and 4th year, you have these 4 courses that you need to take that will then give you that option. Again, you need to sign up for this option and you would take these courses. And then when you graduate, you would have that appearing on your transcript of saying that you have specialized, you have taken the option of population and public health. Or you can take one of the other options with the courses that are part of those options too. So this is available in both French and English. So these options are new and they are gaining in popularity. And again, it's not something that you need to decide right away. Usually I think you sign up for these in 2nd year. So the courses overall that are part of the program, and I have just 2 slides to look at for this. You have the 1st year courses, and you'll see here that most of them, in fact, don't have a code of HSS. There's only 2 that are HSS. You have an English course, a chemistry, anatomy, etc., that are required as part of the Bachelor of Health Sciences. And these, you do find a lot of these courses as part of 1st year for other programs as well. So there is always the interest or the option for students to switch programs after 1st year. And oftentimes they will have a lot of their courses recognized from one faculty to another because a lot of them are very similar. So for example, English workshop in essay writing, you would take that with most other programs that you start at the university. Okay, so it's important to keep that in mind as well, that there is always the possibility of trying to switch into a different program if you don't enter in the first year, if you realize you don't like the program you're in, etc. You'll see in second year that now we have quite a lot more HSS courses. So the ones that are written here with the codes are those that are required as part of the program. And then in third and fourth year, you'll see in third year, there are quite a few. And in fourth year, there are fewer courses that are mandatory. So you'll have to take those courses that are here, but then you have more options to be able to take. We do have a little visitor right now, so just give me 1 second. Je laisse maman finir, s'il te plaît. Okay? Quand maman va finir. Viens t'asseoir. Viens t'asseoir. Merci. Merci. Assis-toi avec moi. All right. So these, as I mentioned, in third and fourth year, are where you would be taking those other courses if you decided to choose one of the options that I had mentioned, so one of those 3 options. So that means that you would then have extra courses that are, even though they're offered to everyone as being optional, they're required for you as part of your option as well. As I mentioned earlier on, if you are doing a Bachelor in Health Sciences, you have an option of doing a minor in some other faculty. And I had mentioned psychology as an example. But it's also true if you are doing a bachelor elsewhere, you can do a minor in health sciences. And again, all of these requirements and the classes and that are all available online for you to look at. But basically, you have 4 compulsory courses that are needed, and then you need to take a bunch of optional courses as well. Okay, so I write here 12 compulsory units, 12 optional courses that are HSS, but then you need 6 extra that are at the 3rd and 4th year levels so that you're not just taking 2nd year courses. So keep that in mind if you were to join another faculty but are still interested in health sciences. There's always the possibility of having that, that background. So some of the research domains within our school, and this is obviously tied to the faculty, so the people who are teaching you. So we look at population health. We are, again, it's quite varied. It's very multidisciplinary, in fact, whereas a lot of researchers do look at things in an interdisciplinary way as well. But we look at women's health, we look at aging, health promotion, environmental health. So myself, I'm actually trained in neuroscience, and I teach multiple courses within the faculty, both in French and English. And this year I'm teaching a new course that we're offering on mental health. So again, it's fascinating for me to be able to finally offer this to our health sciences students. It's quite popular this year, and unfortunately, we're doing it online, which is not the intent for this type of course, at least for me. But hopefully the students are getting something good out of it as well. A little bit of admissions information. So from last year, in terms of what was the required average to get into the program, if you came from high school, typically you need at least a low 80s average in terms of a minimum being required to get admitted. Now, I can't say that this is exactly what's going on every year because it changes. It depends on how many students we're able to accept, how many students apply, and so on. So typically the low 80s is the minimum in terms of acceptance. Sometimes in the French programs, however, the average might be a little bit lower. So what do our graduates do? Right, so after you've done your Bachelor of Health Sciences, we find that 82% of our students actually continue their studies. Some pursue a degree in medicine. Actually, many are very much interested in pursuing medicine when they enter, and they do so afterward as well. But a lot of students who do come in with the intent or with the idea of wanting to pursue medicine, they do find alternatives that maybe they weren't aware of as they go through the program. So that's an interesting thing for us as well, because I think it's very important to allow you to think about all the options that are out there and to not limit yourself in terms of what you might want to pursue as a career. We have a lot of students who continue their training in terms of a professional program, so audiology, speech therapy, physiotherapy, pharmacy, so many different things. And we have a lot of our students as well who pursue graduate studies. So we do offer a master's in the Interdisciplinary School of Health Sciences, and we have quite a few of our undergraduate students who pursue that master's. But we also have students who pursue a master's in other programs, whether it be at Ottawa U or elsewhere. And one of the popular ones is epidemiology. We also offer a PhD in population health. And a lot of our students do end up going there, but you do require a master's degree to get into this PhD. So some of the qualities of our students, intelligent being forefront there, being motivated, interdisciplinary. So a lot of students really get the interdisciplinarity component of it, and they really appreciate coming out of this program with that type of training. So it's, again, we hope that you see yourself in this program and that you'll want to join us. So just a few pictures here, and I'm not sure if I put the final picture, but these are some of the professors and some of our former students. I don't think there's any current students, but basically there's a bunch of people here who are looking out for you. And I'm not sure that I put the last picture, unfortunately. And if you look at the very right-hand side at the top, you have the two women with the gentleman there. So the reason I mention him in particular, this is Dr. Raywat Deonandan. He actually will be the undergraduate director next year if you guys are starting with us. So I'm here for this year, and he will be taking over again. He has been in this position before. But the other reason I mention him is that you might recognize him. He is an epidemiologist, and he has been very prominently in the news talking about the pandemic and what we should or shouldn't do with respect to this pandemic. So if you watch CTV or actually a bunch of other places, but also he's on radio, he's being interviewed a lot about all the changes with respect to the pandemic. So we're very proud of the work that he does, and he's such an interesting person to talk to. So he will be your assistant director next year.